The following production is part of the Play Some Video Games podcast network.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Play Some Video Games, the flagship show of the PSVG podcast network, and the only gaming podcast being listened to while giving birth. Now, I'm not entirely sure if that's true or not, but I do know we have to issue a warm congratulations to friends of the family, Sean and Chelsea Capri, and also, as of recording right now, Jacob and Becca Rush on the birth of their new little ones as well. So both welcoming in their second child in the past couple weeks there. So big ups to you. But as Kyle would say, this isn't a birthing podcast. We're here to talk about video games. So on the show with me this evening is the boss man, Donnie. Sir, how you doing? I caught him right when he's taking a big old sip.
Greetings, Kooblings.
There we go. That's better. And also with us, I did put it on the notes here that he was taking a break from Fireball Island to chat with us, but unfortunately his hasn't shipped. Well, yours shipped yet, but you haven't gotten it yet. Kyle.
Yeah, that's the thing with Kickstarters. It's really unfortunate when, you put all these hundreds of dollars up front and then people just walk into stores and get the game before you get yours.
And at 20% off.
I know. I'm well aware.
Oh, so for those of you that aren't in the Discord, I mean, you should be anyway. You should go on psvg.blog, join that Discord. You would find out that, Kyle got his notification that Fireball Island shipped, and Josh went in support of Small Business Saturdays to his local gaming shop and walked out with Fireball Island at 20% off. Oh, the pictures are sweet, though. I will say that. So I can't wait to hear you both. Hopefully, you'll get to play it before this week's episode because I want to hear you both talk about it. If at all possible in this week's Board with VG. But anyway, guys, let's talk some video games now. Because this ain't a board game podcast. We have one of those. We don't need to cover it here. Let's kick it off with What You Playing, brought to you, as always, by Flux the Post. Kyle, sir, I will let you have the honors of going first. So what have you been playing other than wait to stare at it in the box with Fireball Island?
So in the world of video games, I've actually been spending a lot of time as of late in the world of PSVR. Finishing up Astrobot Rescue Mission, which is an absolutely delightful game. Really, still, I know I've waxed poetic about this game and raved about it, and I still think it is going to vie for a position in the top, one of my top 5 games of the year. Just really think that, Japan Studio did something special with that game and how they created it. So really enjoying my time there. Also finally picked up, because it was on sale for Black Friday, picked up Creed Rise to Glory.
Oh, nice.
I'm a big fan of the Creed movie. I haven't seen Creed 2 yet because I went to Wreck-It Ralph 2 instead this weekend. But yeah, so I decided, it was on sale for 50% off. So I jumped into it. Who doesn't like a good boxing game? And Survios, the folks who made it, have done some other really solid VR games. So I was really looking forward to this. And so far, I'm a bit disappointed. The game is good, but it's definitely not. The tracking isn't everything I was hoping it would be. And I think it's partially user error because it's a boxing game. So you're holding your move controllers, but because, the move controllers have like that weird ball on the end, yep. I always think about like pointing those forward as to like what I'm trying to point at. But this game is very specifically designed that you hold the move controllers like a fist and that you would punch just like you would punch normally. So
it's very much like Wii boxing.
Yeah. So like so like when you're to aim or to point at something, you actually hold like it basically vertically, and then like the beam shoots out of the side. And it just really was throwing me off for a long time about how exactly I was supposed to like hold these and move and punch. And like I said, I think it's mostly user error. When I've gotten into the fights, like I've had a good time with it. The training parts are pretty fun, just not quite exactly hitting every note that I was hoping it was going to hit. Like I said, probably mostly user error there. I will still go in and finish it. they've definitely been supporting it. They just added some new fighters to it. So there's been some free DLC that's come with it. So I will continue to do that. But overall, it's been fine. It hasn't been great, but it's been fine. Some games that have been great, though. Number one, Tetris Effect. My goodness. Who would have thought that, there was a new way you could play Tetris that would be so meaningful and so impactful. And Tetris Effect really is something special. I think that I enjoy Tetris, but I'm not great at it. I'm not someone who can set up a whole bunch of T-spins and do all of those good things and crazy things, but I do just enjoy sitting down to play some good Tetris. And the music in this game is amazing, kind of how they put it together. The new abilities to where it kind of freezes and you can clear as many lines as you can without it increasing your level to try to boost up your score is a nice feature in the game because, number one, if you're a high score chaser, it allows you to basically get 20 lines if you're good enough to bump up your score from that 20 lines without raising you to the next level. But if you're not great at the game, it allows you kind of a minute to catch up. So it's actually a really cool feature that is good if you're an advanced player and good if you're a beginning player. And it's going to be beneficial to you either way, which I don't think you see that often. So I think that's a really neat mechanic that they have in there. So really enjoying Tetris Effect, which you can obviously play not in VR. Definitely think playing it in VR I like better.
Why?
Why do I like playing it in VR better?
Yeah, what's the VR pitch for Tetris?
Have you played Thumper?
Yes, only on Switch though.
Okay. The best way I can is hard. It's a hard thing to describe, but if you go play Thumper in VR and then play it not in VR, can you play it not in VR and it's still good? Absolutely. It just feels completely different when you're playing it in VR. And I think that's really the thing with Tetris Effect too. It's still a good game, not in VR. It's still a great Tetris game. It just feels different when you are in VR. How the scale of everything, how the music interlaces, and the particle effects that are happening, it just feels different when you're in that VR space than it does on the screen.
More immersive.
Yes.
Not necessarily a gameplay enhancement.
No, it's definitely an immersion thing. It's 100% an immersion thing.
Okay.
It's not a gameplay changer at all.
Because having recently acquired the headset, this one's on my short list, and one of the reasons why I bought it. I like my Tetris, and I like my Lumines, and I like these types of things. And I was watching all these streams and footage, and I was just I just don't see what VR is doing. $40 is a lot for Tetris. I'm sorry. Everybody values games differently. I'm just sitting there. I cannot pay $40 for Tetris. I've been playing this game for 30 years. So I'm kind of I'm waiting for a sale, a little discount, not crazy. If I could have got it for 20 or 25, I would have hopped instantly. But 40, just an extra 15, just too much, man. It's just too much.
Not a crazy sale, just half off. Not a crazy sale.
Just half.
Yeah, just half.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think it is, $40 for a Tetris game is definitely going to be a big ask for some people. I understand that. And I think that I really like Tetris. I think Tetris is just one of those games that always is a good time to play, at least as far as I'm concerned. I think it's a classic. I think it's easily, if you, did a list of top 100 video games of all time, I feel like Tetris, some version of Tetris should likely be in the top 10 of that, if not even the top 5 of that.
Absolutely.
So playing that, but the game I'm definitely have the most fun with right now is definitely Beat Saber.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's good or a bad, but I'm really loving Beat Saber. It was a game that had a lot of hype when it was on early access on PC when it came out in May, and it got announced, in PlayStation's pre E3 that 5 days of announcements they did before E3. I think that's where they announced that it was coming to PSVR. And there's definitely some folks who have been upset because, a lot of the mods and the fan created songs aren't there. It's something that's going to happen on PlayStation. But the track list that they have, I think it is really enjoyable, and it's made specifically for this game. And I think you can feel that when you're playing it, that these songs are made to be awesome in Beat Saber. And it feels that way when you're playing it. It's a great workout. The move controllers are I think this is the most responsive and yes, that's exactly what I meant to have happen with my move controllers I've ever seen in a game, which is nice, which also, it's not a huge risk reward. You're swinging a saber at a block. It's probably a little okay if it's off and then but with how fast the thing goes, like I've never felt like I missed something that I should have hit. I'm just really enjoying it. I think the modifiers that they have in it is very cool. It definitely is a challenging game if you ramp up the difficulty. But yeah, it definitely is delivering, and the hype that I had for the game was high, and it's something that I feel like this is going to be a game I'm going to play very regularly, and I look forward to the DLC that's coming. $30 up front for 15 tracks. I'm interested to see what the DLC is going to cost. They are saying it's going to be 10 songs in the first pack, and I think according to some sources, there's going to be 3 packs total. But I'll be very interested to see how much those packs are going to cost. But right now, really enjoy Beat Saber. If you have a PSVR, I think it is one of those titles that you should definitely look at picking up. So like I said, been a very PSVR heavy rotation, been dabbling in some other things, but that has been the bulk of what I've been playing as of late.
So question for you on Beat Saber, and this actually can go for Donnie as well. So Beat Saber has no licensed music. We kind of talked about that already in the Discord. Does it affect your likelihood of buying song packs then? Because normally with like song packs with like Rock Band or Guitar Hero, like you got pumped because they're like, hey, I like these songs. You're not going to get to hear these songs. Like, and what's your biting price then that you'll buy something on a whim, not knowing what they are?
Well, for me, really quick, and then I'll turn it over to Donnie just so you can talk about Beat Saber in general. If it's more songs by the people who have done the soundtrack that's already there, which I'm assuming it is, they've done a great job with it. And I don't know what that price is. That's the hard thing. I don't know what that price is. It's probably more. My price is probably higher than Donnie's is. But I don't know. I don't know what they're going to go for. If it's $15 for 10 songs, I'm in at $15 for sure.
Now, see, Donnie would do that for half off.
For 3 packs, though, that's $45 on top of the 30 you've already spent on. It's $75 a game for 45 songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's too much. What I was gonna say is, if you take the Rock Band model, Rock Band charges $1.99 for all of their tracks. So if they're giving you 10 songs, that'd be $20. Typically they do like a discount, but that's licensed, and they're popular songs, and they're songs from artists that and that's why they charge a high fee. I definitely wouldn't do $1.99 a song, unless and then I will, because I do love this game quite a bit actually. I'll listen to them all. One of my favorite things to do about Rock Band and Guitar Hero, one of my favorite things that why I've always played these games for so long, is they introduced me to music that I've never heard before. It's one of the many I have so many songs in my Google Play library from seeing it in Guitar Hero and then going and buying the song. I've bought the song twice. I buy it in Guitar Hero, then I go buy. So I've paid $4 for a song. If I really like the song, I mean, there's if you really like it, there's no price. It doesn't matter what the price is. You really like it. But for what they already have, let's say they give me 3 packs that are very similar to what's in the game now, I couldn't buy them all at let's say $15 each. I think 10 would be pushing it for me. I'd probably wait for a deal, some sort of pass, some sort of PlayStation Plus something, something to get in there. I've been strapping PSVR on all of my family's heads all weekend, making it play Beat Saber. Beat Saber is amazing. One of the questions I was going to ask is Kyle, what was it that you were playing and showing people before Astrobot and Beat Saber came out? Because the demos and the things that I've played before I acquired Astrobot and Beat Saber versus my opinion on PSVR after playing Astrobot and Beat Saber are like night and day differences. I mean, they couldn't be further from like the other end of the spectrum. When I first got PSVR, like my first day and a half with it, I was like, man, I just bought like a $200 kaleidoscope. Like this is it's neat, but there was nothing like, there was no aha moment. There was no like, this is, I never felt like amazing. But playing Astrobot and Beat Saber is amazing. Playing Beat Saber is amazing. It's drumming, it's lightsabers, it's Guitar Hero. I mean, it's everything. It's so much fun. I've only played all the songs on the easiest difficulty. So I started there, and we were going through it, and plus we, rotating kids and family, and doing all the headsets. So we stayed on the easy difficulty. But I have played them all through the easy difficulty, and I felt like the motions got a little bit repetitive, which I only hope just goes away as you amp up the difficulty. Some of the motions will, probably won't be so reused so often. but it's incredible. Like the way it has you moving in 3D space is unreal, because it's not just swinging your arms. You're shuffling left to right, you're bending over, you're ducking. You're doing it while you're making the movements with your arms at the same time. Like it's like every bit of the promise that Kinect ever wanted to be. It's like a full body motion game, and it's quite impressive. But yeah, sorry, Kyle. What was there like a Beat Saber Astrobot before these games?
I mean, I think Super Hot VR is really awesome. I think Moss was really good. I think that you are right. For the first year of the headset, it was a lot of like tech demos and things like that. But I think that, most people who bought into PSVR knew what they were getting into initially. Like there was a lot of like, hey, this is Gen 1, year 1. We're figuring this out as we go. But I think even like Resident Evil 7, there were still cool experiences that were in there. I think now though, you're definitely starting to see people getting it, and you're starting to see those tech demos that came out now becoming full games. That's what Astrobot, was initially just something on the demo disc that is now a full game. The Heist is becoming Blood and Truth, which eventually will be probably coming out next year. Like we're starting to see now the promise of like, hey, here's this tech cool thing. Now that we understand the technology better, here's what we can truly deliver with it. So you're right. There were definitely fewer of those more marquee experiences, but this fall has been pretty solid if you're a PSVR owner. There's been some really good titles.
Yeah, I mean, so I jumped on the deal. I got I got a refurbished model from Newegg. So I'm in it for 160, throwing another 35 for the Move controllers. So I'm in it for less than 200, and I just bought like a chunk load of any game that was on sale. I've been just kind of bringing all of it as I can, and it's really interesting and it's really neat. In the aspect of just Astrobot is very much like Mario 3D World or 3D Land, Kevin, but you don't play as the character, you play as the camera. Like your entire perspective in the game is from the camera above as you move the character around the world. So it's like, I was trying to think about how to explain this to other folks that maybe have no idea. Think about 3D Land, but like the camera that follows Mario.
Yeah.
Think if that was your head and you could move it around and see it in all different angles.
Oh,
and they play with it quite a bit because you can see around corners. There's times where, the character has reached the end of where you can see he needs to go. And then you actually like move, like you turn sideways, you move your head, you peek around the corner to see a hidden path or to see an enemy that you can't see from the standard behind the back straight on view.
Right.
Or you look down the level and you can see things that go down or see things that go up. There are things like that. It's really neat. And as a Nintendo fan, I got to say that it's really interesting to see PlayStation being the one innovating in this space, because this is typically Nintendo space. Like, it's really something Nintendo hasn't done in quite a while, like maybe since the Wii. And I've been 10 years or so since they've really got real innovative with gameplay. And like this VR thing, or at least with Astrobot, feels very innovative and something that I kind of expect to see Nintendo try to mimic at some point. I have no idea if they'll ever make a VR headset, but I could definitely see them doing something on mobile, or you strap the screen to your face, or if they do any type of Switch thing or something like that, because I can't imagine that, Miyamoto sees Astrobot and thinks that they can't do it with Mario. Right. Like I just can't. And like, there's so many examples of him seeing something like that and going, man, we could do X, Y, and Z with this idea. And I almost expect to see that. But Astrobot is really cool as a VR game because you are playing as a camera. It's not like the other VR games. It doesn't feel so gimmicky. You can sit down and play it because you're controlling the character with just the controller. You're just playing. Let's like think of it. I mean, you're just playing a Mario game, more or less. Think about it that way. And but you can move around like your head and your view and your stance and everything. It's very charming. I really enjoy the character so far. I'm hoping it gets, I would say, harder. I'm only through the first world, Kyle. So I mean, like we just played it for 2 hours on Friday morning.
Yeah, it doesn't get significantly harder. There are some new like mechanics and stuff that are introduced, but I think maybe the very last world, there's a parts are a little more complicated, but overall, I don't think the point of the game is for it to be hard.
Sure. It's a charming, casual affair. Right. Sure.
Yep. So I think it's one of those things that's there to introduce people to like, hey, this is why VR is cool. And if
It
you
is
get
cool.
frustrated in that, it seems way less cool. So
I think definitely because it's simpler in nature than I think some other games that I've tried. It definitely comes off better in VR. It's not nearly as edgy or as fuzzy. Like that's kind of the overall. Like you called it the screen door effect.
Yep, screen door
I'm
effect.
definitely getting like everything. I'm just like it's all so fuzzy. Like I definitely could see the next generation of VR being like very polished and crisp and tight and being something really worthwhile.
You play games on DS, dude. It's fine.
That's true. That's true. True. It's different when you strap the screen to your face.
No, I know. I'm just kidding.
When you strap it to your face, like, and that was really my first impression. Probably couldn't have been like the worst impression because I got the headset, and before I ever got the headset, I started downloading like all the demos ahead of time. So I immediately jumped into the PlayStation demo disc. Some of those games are like rough. Like some of those little demo experiences are like really rough. And
yeah,
I played like this harmonics game thing in there, and I was like, what is this thing? And then I did this app thing.
Is that the Music Evolved or whatever it is?
You like look at something and like it gets this kaleidoscope thing and it kind of spins around. And then we did this app where you like walk on a beach.
Mm-hmm.
That was terrible. Like the picture quality was really, really bad. I was like, man, this is like Google Street has better pictures than this. Like it was not good. And like the whole like walking where you like click a space in front of you and you walk to and you click another one, you walk to it was like Google Street View. It's like Google Street Maps. You walk around on a beach, but it's like you get sound effects. But it wasn't until I played this game called 2MD VR Football. Have you played this game?
I have not. No.
It's $12. And that's the only reason I bought it, because we were just looking for things that I was waiting for, like Doom to install and all the other things to install. And I played this game called 2MD VR Football. I was just going through the list and I found this one and I was like, we like football? Sure. That was the first one where I was like, wow, like, okay, VR can be something. So like you literally pick up your helmet like off the chalkboard and you take the helmet with the Move controller and you put it on. And when you put the helmet on, it starts the game. Mm-hmm. And you all look like all of your little characters look like little foosball football players. It's not like realistic like Madden, right? But it puts you first camera perspective as the quarterback on the field. And you put your little Move controller up to hike the ball. You press to hike the ball. You get the ball. You look at a receiver and you throw it. And you just play football like that. And my son and I have had a blast with this little $12 game. There's like this rings mode where you just go out into a field and you throw through rings that make you that teach you how to lob the ball, how to throw a bullet pass. You can throw like side passes. You can throw with both hands if you like really get good at it. You can just like start doing things. It's nuts. We were having a contest of how far we could throw it. And because it's football, it was very much like our father-in-law would watch us play it, and then guess who wanted to try it? And then because we were having fun, then the girls wanted to try. And it's one of those types of things for $12. And when you put on the helmet, it's all cartoony graphics, right? Like there's nothing realistic about this thing at all. It's all like soccer strikers visually. But in VR, like it totally works. And you can draw plays on the chalkboard and then run them in practice and things like that. It's nuts for $12. It's like, this is cool. If you could do Madden like this, Coach Mo would be lost to us forever. Like he just strapped this headset on and that's all he could ever do. Yeah, I mean, it was really cool. And then Super Hypercube was the first game demo that I played where I was like, okay, now this is like a game changer. Like this is different. And I won't break down all about how to play that game. I think a lot of people already know how to play that game, but having, like I said, I got it, I think on Wednesday or Thursday, and having gone from like then to now, like spending, some days with it, with Astrobot, with Beat Saber, like my entire opinion on it is flipped because now I have some games. And granted, I haven't finished or played all the other ones. Like I got Doom, Paranormal Activity. I haven't gotten any of the horror stuff, which is like the whole reason why I really bought the thing. Because I want to sit down with those, like we've been doing like the Wii Sports thing with it. It's the whole family. We're all gathered around. It's a lot of swapping the headset and everything. I haven't had a whole lot of time to just put the headset on, sit down and play it. My wife is having a blast watching me play it. Like she's got videos of me throwing the football, like it just looks ridiculous from a third person perspective. She's like, what is this person doing? But Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I'm happy I got in at this price point. I'll admit that. What was it like right out of the gate, Kyle? It was like $400.
I think so. Yeah.
That feels a lot. I mean, and good for all of those folks that went out there and jumped in early. And like you were telling me that there's like a different model headset now and a different box and all that. Like I couldn't imagine. I would feel a lot of sticker shock and some buyer's remorse if I paid $400 because, and I think that's why I held off on buying them so long. I still feel like there's no like big VR game. You know, like I'm still waiting for them to like hit you with the big PlayStation exclusive tie-in like IP franchise thing. Like everything's, you know, even like Astrobot, that's like it's not a new IP, but it's like a first, you know, run, you know, IP. There's no like historical, you know, where's like the Vita games? Like where's the Killzone Mercenaries? Where's the Uncharted? You know, like where's that VR game? I'm hoping. But let's all be honest. I bought this for Hot Shots. I'm going to be playing. I'm going to be playing golf next year with this headset on, and hopefully it's good. Hopefully that gets me playing everybody's golf again because I could use it. But it's been fun.
Interesting. All right, I guess I'll go then. And since you guys kind of PSVR everything, I have not played PSVR, so there will be no talk there. But I will say I did play something that I had zero intentions of playing, but to give credit where credit is due, Donnie and Caro and Lobo had described Pokemon Let's Go in a way enough to get me interested. So I'd already bought it day one for my wife. It was initially going to be a Christmas gift.
Wife.
No. I've been saying all along I didn't want to play the game. I had no interest. It was initially going to be a Christmas gift, but I felt bad because she doesn't really have anything to play right now, and I do enjoy it when she has a game to play or we can play together, whatever the case is. So I was like, oh, let me just give this to her. So she played it like day one right off the bat for like hours. Came home from work the next day. She was playing it when I got home from work. So like clearly she was into it. To listen to your show, I was like, all right, I'll give it a shot. So I did play a little bit of it. I haven't gotten too far to be completely honest, but it definitely has me like, okay, I'm going to play this. I like this. I like this model. Your description of, you know, the random encounters now just being that little mini game, just catch it Pokemon Go style. That makes it much more accessible for me because honestly, I don't want to grind through everything again. So I think this is pretty fun. So I'm enjoying my time with it. Haven't played it too much, like I said.
I mean, I got to Lorelei today. It was in the final four, so I'm almost done.
From Gilmore Girls?
No.
That's totally where I went to.
And I believe Caroline's done. And unless he just stopped playing on Thanksgiving Day, and he hasn't played it since, I believe Lobo's done too.
Yeah.
So I think I'll be done. I'll finish it tomorrow. And it'll probably be about near 30 hours, just to give anybody out there any retrospective, which, you know, is about right.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Not wrong with that. Playing on PlayStation in downtime because of kind of where I had consoles throughout the house and which was on which TV. I ended up playing PlayStation for a little bit. And I was like, what should I play? So I went to my backlog and I realized, I wanted to play this and I haven't played it yet. And that was Yakuza Kiwami, which is PS Plus. So now Kyle might know a little bit more on this one. This is a remake of an older game though, right?
Yeah, this is a remake of the original Yakuza.
Okay. That makes me feel a little bit better because this game does have a little bit of, it just kind of feels a little old. But what I will say is I love the combat system in this game. So if you're not familiar with Yakuza, your encounters are almost, ironically enough, Pokemon-esque with the random encounters. Like you're just walking down the street, all of a sudden some guy will shout at you like, hey, you, I'm going to kick your ass, whatever the case is. And then it ends up in this cutscene where it's almost like a Tekken-style fighter thing where like the whole camera dynamic changes. You're able to move around a ring. It's an invisible ring, of course, but like you can't run away from the enemy, and you're able to manipulate around that field and actually have combos and grappling and different fighting styles you can change on the fly to take down your opponents. And you can use, karate, or you can pick up items from the street, or I had this one big massive fight scene where it was like me against like 20 guys in a nightclub, and I was like throwing tables and chairs, and it's pretty fun. So I will say it's definitely cool. I understand the hook with Yakuza for sure, and I'm having a good time with it, but it does just feel a little dated. It looks good, but it just feels a little old. Just the writing and the camera angles, the kind of movement feels a little bit older, which is fine. I mean, I didn't pay for it. It was free. It's on PS Plus, so it's all good. So I'm enjoying my time with that. I did boot up Spyro, Donnie, on the good old Xbox there, and I'm having fun. So full disclosure, I don't think I have ever played Spyro, just Spyro. Or if I did, it was very, very briefly before.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like I know I played Skylanders, For sure. I've played almost all of them. But I think maybe if I played Spyro before, it was like very, very minimal, like 20 minutes at somebody else's house kind of deal. So, and definitely not the first game, because I'm playing this and I'm like, okay, this is totally different than what I remember Spyro being.
I believe it was on it was at least on one of them, but I wanted to say it was on like the demo disc.
Yeah.
So I played that opening section because it was on that demo disc for so many times that like jumping back in was almost like, muscle memory. I was like, oh yeah. So.
But the game looks great. They did a
gorgeous.
Great job remastering this. Like, it looks so much better. Not to throw bombs at anybody, but it looks way better than the job that was done with Crash and the remaster of Crash Bandicoot. Like, this Spyro looks way better. I am interested in getting my wife and kids to play it and see how they like it. So far, it's just been me. I probably played like 2 or 3 hours into it, but it's definitely something I'm going to go through. I'm gonna play them all. It's a nice palate cleanser between like the bigger experiences I'm playing right now for sure. But yeah, very, very cool game. So thank you for picking that one up.
Oh yeah. I the only thing that I didn't like about it was the camera. It's helped a bit if you jump into the sections and you set it to active.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Kind of
I did that right away.
A little faster.
Yep.
Funny little quick story is I started it and I was like, hey kids, come see this. Specifically my daughter. She loves the adventure game. And she was like, oh, this is cool and it looks so good. And she likes the dragon. She thinks he's super cute. So she takes the controller from me. I completely lost my save. Like, she just took it over. She went like 4 worlds ahead of me, and I had to restart like a whole save over again. So her and my wife are already like, and my wife is way into little Spyro too. Like, for whatever reason, the ladies in my house thinks he's super cute, so they keep playing.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. So yeah, I'm gonna see how the ladies in my house enjoy it then eventually. But I'm having fun with that. Battlefield 5. So I did boot it up. I did not participate in any demo, any free play time that EA Access was doing, like 10 hours you could play, the multiplayer beta. I stayed completely clean of it. I bought it for us ahead of time, like way ahead of time, pre-ordered it. And I was just like, I'm just going to experience it because either way, we're in on it. We're doing it. And I played the opening intro type thing that they do, which gives you a good feel for how the game's going to be. It's like a 10-minute intro reel where you just do a lot of quick scenes to say, okay, here's how it is combat on foot. Here's how combat in a tank works. Here's how combat in a plane works. And then I did the opening mission as well. I will say the game visually looks stunning. It is a great looking game. They've done a fantastic job with that there. I like the maps. The maps are pretty diverse. There's different ways you can approach the same objective. Like, it just drops you in the area, and it's not, clearly it's a linear storyline, a linear objective, but there are multiple ways you can go to get that. Almost Hitman-esque, where it's like, here's your target. Go figure out how you want to go and do it. You can go in throwing grenades all over the place, or you can go stealth and not shoot a single gun, like however you want to do it. So I do like that freedom in it. And I think this is one I'm really gonna enjoy playing. I haven't played a Battlefield game in quite some time. I want to say like Battlefield 2 or Battlefield 3 was the last one I played. So yeah, this feels good. It's really good. I'm glad we picked this one up for sure. So I'll have more impressions on that to come. And the last one, which I think some listeners might be interested in hearing something about, because pretty much 95% of the press on this one is very, very bad, and that is Fallout 76. Which,
I'm really interested in hearing about this.
Yeah, so Donnie also owns it as well. I don't imagine him booting it up ever, but hey, he's got it if for some reason he has a stroke and decides he wants to play it, whatever. Okay, so number one, the first thing I'm going to say is anybody that's watching coverage on Fallout 76 online, take a look at where that coverage is coming from, because a lot of the glitches and all the stuff I'm seeing, like these reels of stuff just going horribly wrong, is on PC for one reason or another. Now, typically with games, PC versions run better than everything else. So I don't know what they're doing, but I have had 0 technical glitches on the Xbox One S. I don't even have an X, folks. I'm not getting any weird glitches. Characters aren't flying off the screen. Nobody's getting stuck in items. I'm about 10 hours in. So I think that's a pretty good barometer to sit there and say, okay, if something was going to glitch, it probably would happen by now. Considering, like, when you look at the coverage, people saying, oh my God, there's so much stuff wrong. I would expect something to happen within the first 10 hours of the game, at least one thing.
So just to clarify, you're saying no frame rate drops, no clipping, nope. Nothing.
Nope.
Awesome.
I had one issue where lighting, I was in a certain building, it was a warehouse, and the sun was coming through the windows, and it was causing some kind of weird, almost God ray type thing. But that was it. And to me, that wasn't that big of a deal. It's fine. It just didn't light probably the way it should have. But it looks just like Fallout. Like, it's not, I'm not going to say it doesn't look better than last Fallout. It looks exactly the same, which for me, as a Fallout fan, it's fine. The biggest gripe other people have too, as well as the fact that there are no NPCs. So Fallout is known for its huge narrative story, and it's still there, folks. Despite what you're hearing, it's there. Yes, it's not in the way of another actual physical person talking to you. They're all done via audio logs, which is a thing that's always been in Fallout anyway. Yes, there's way more now, but here's my argument why it's not a bad thing per se. So in a typical Fallout game, you might walk up to somebody and you have your narrative tree. You know, they say something, you have your multiple responses you can do. And a conversation with somebody just to get to your next mission might take 2 or 3 minutes where you're selecting all the different dialogues in a normal Fallout game. In this type of Fallout game, you get to whatever your objective is, you probably hack a computer, you get your audio log, and you could start walking to your next objective as it's telling you the story. So a lot of Fallout was just walking through this giant landscape of stuff that nothing was there. And so you hit a city. That's when you found life and other things that go around. In this one, it's the same way. However, there's something to listen to and follow along with as you're traversing to the next area. So it's not entirely a bad thing. You're not stuck sitting there listening to a cutscene. You're able to continue to walk along as you're hearing the story that's there. And there's definitely a story there. So everyone that's saying there's no story, they're lying about that too. There's definitely a story there. There are non-playable characters. They're just not humans. I've run into robots. I've run into androids. I've run into mutants that can all talk as well. So there are some NPCs there.
And realistically, isn't an NPC just an audio log in the shape of a person?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like it really doesn't bother me. Like it makes sense.
No, it's not.
It is.
No, it's not. You get no. You get acclimated. There's a personal connection when you can see something. Some of your favorite non-playable characters are your favorites because you see them, you see their interaction. It's more than just what they say or what you read. It's how they say it and how they behave when they say it.
Not in a Fallout game. So you haven't played Fallout before. The characters are pretty stale.
Fallout 4.
So they're stale. Like you watch when you had somebody talk to you, they're like, Donnie, you must go to this city and go find this document. Like, so it's the same thing. And actually,
I didn't mean to argue with you. I'm just not going to sit here while happens.
It's not 100% the same, but it's fine without it. Like, I get why they can't do it. You think about how big these worlds are. Same thing with Skyrim. And you have all these other characters running around that are actual players in the game. It's kind of hard to have all this stuff going on.
They say that this game is 4 times the size of Fallout 4 is like the thing that I'm hearing on the podcast rotation.
The map is 4 times the size, or the game is?
The map.
I haven't ventured a ton out. Like, it does seem pretty big. I don't know that it's 4 times just looking at the screen. Because, I mean, the Fallout worlds are massive anyway.
For what it's worth, I don't want to interrupt you, but for what it's worth, everything you're saying matches up to the other podcasts that I'm listening to in terms of, IGN, Kind of Funny, these other folks have broken down Fallout 4 quite a bit, and they all said basically the same thing, that the glitches and everything, it seems to be a little maybe overstated. It looks a lot more like Fallout 4. So if I can offer something to this conversation, I played Fallout 4 and it came to Game Pass because I wanted to see it. My only interest in Fallout, the game, and I played New Vegas, but I'm not like a series fan. My only interest in it is literally the setting. The post, nuclear bomb type thing. And I would be there specifically for the story of that setting.
Okay.
I have no tie to the characters, anything. I just want to know what happened, how it happened, how I have to live in it now. And playing Fallout 4, I played it for maybe 2 hours. I got to like that next town over. Coming out of the vault was super cool, but I got to admit, playing Fallout 4, I was like, the graphics seemed dated. It definitely felt like I could understand when I played it. My initial reaction was I could understand why people that were hyped for Fallout 4 maybe felt let down, considering that like Dragon Age and The Witcher comes out and then Fallout 4 came out, and just visually I didn't think it held up. But it's just the visuals. If you're not like a super visual person, then maybe, but like if I'm like, for me, I was there for that setting, I wanted it to be like visually spectacular. So to hear that it basically seems like it's more of the same, I feel like that'd be a little down for me. And then this is kind of like, so this is like an MMO. Like the entire world is just filled with other, human player elements with like robots mixed in, right?
Yes, but you don't have to interact with the other people. You can, but you don't have to. So
and that's where I was going. because what I've heard, like when I first heard about this game when it was first announced, right? When we heard about it at E3, I was like, oh my God, it's gonna be a mess. It's everybody running around shooting everybody. It's not that.
No, not at all.
But what I want to hear from you is in the podcast rotation, the best of the way that I've heard it described to me is that it was No Man's Sky with like Destiny-like events. Everybody basically said it was kind of like this inventory gathering and like base building thing. You're just going out and exploring, finding as much stuff as you can, coming back so you can go out further. And then there were like these Destiny events where you could pair up with other players to go fight the bad dudes and stuff like that. Is that?
Yeah, that's a great way. I hadn't heard that, and I haven't played No Man's Sky, but gathering stuff, you're right. That's always been a huge part in Fallout because everything, as useless as it seems, can be broken down for resources. And in this one, you need resources bad. In Fallout, traditionally, you can play in like casual mode, or you can play in like hardcore mode, where you have to eat, you have to drink stuff in order to keep your health up as well. In this one, you don't get a choice. You have to play in like the hardcore mode where you need to have water. Well, guess what? It's a nuclear fallout. Water isn't good. So you not only have to find water, you have to then find a crafting station where you can boil that water so it's drinkable. And you have to, manage your food. You're eating the food. It's all radiated. So you have to manage that with chemicals and medicines to counteract your radiation poisoning. So there's a lot going on. And I kind of will sum it up because we're kind of going a little long here on this. Basically, if you're not a fan of Fallout, this game is not going to do a single thing to change your mind in the least. If you're a fan of Fallout and have been, you probably won't be bothered too much by the changes. To be honest, they're subtle at best. The characters have never been the best part of Fallout. It's been the overall story. And like Donnie said, the environment. This area that we're in is different. This looks pretty cool. Like it's not the cities. Like you're going through some countrysides in between destinations there, which has been different than my experiences with Fallout so far. So that's a welcome change as well. But yeah, if you're not a Fallout fan, skip this one. It's not going to do anything to sell you on the franchise. I have interacted with some other people a little bit in missions, but so far I've been playing it pretty much as I play any Fallout game, which is all by myself. Well, let's move on to the main part of the show here, guys. Let's talk about the news of the week.
This week in Play Some Video Game News.
Coach Mo has a new goal, guys. The world record for the highest Xbox Gamerscore is now 2 million. Ray Cox, known in the gaming world as Stallion83, previously held the world record for being the first person to get 1 million points in Xbox achievements. Yesterday, he beat his own record by bringing his Gamerscore to 2 million. He streamed the achievement on Twitch, which he completed by playing Halo 2 from the Master Chief Collection. He told Guinness World Records, Halo is my favorite franchise, so when I fired it up while searching for the game, I hit me that this should be the game I hit 2 million with. So he's got his first Xbox achievement on November 22nd, 2005. In 2014, he became the first person to attain 1 million points, earning himself a lifetime Xbox Live Gold membership in the process from Microsoft, which I think is pretty cool. Cox told Guinness he's not sure if he'll go for 3 million points, but he said, I've always loved video games and achievements, and I'll always be playing and going for them. You can watch the whole entire stream he did, guys, to hit the 2 million. It was an 8-hour stream, which you can go find on Twitch now if you're really that interested. But Coach Mo, you got some grinding to do there, buddy. You got some competition. I think that's something you should go for. So. Donnie, you anywhere close to that 2 million yet?
Nope.
Oh, so sad. Kyle, what's your gamer score? Like 100, 200?
No, it's like I played a lot on 360. So it's not super big.
Yeah,
it's definitely higher than that.
I have no idea what mine is. It's got to be like, I don't know, 10,000. I don't know. I've played a lot of Xbox over the years. You've seen Kevin? See my library? I've got to have something over there, but I didn't even pay attention to that thing.
I just play. I don't hunt them, but I know Coach Mo's a big achiever.
I don't know what they are, yeah.
And Coach is over 2 million, right? I mean, over
idea.
1 million, not 2 million. I think he's over 1 million, isn't he?
That's insane.
Or is he 100,000? I don't know. Coach Mo, go get it. That's all I'm saying. So December, we're dropping this right before we start hitting December. Typically isn't a big month for game releases. Normally our biggest ones hit like November, and it's kind of quiet for a few months here. And this time we got Smash coming out, as we know. Jason Lacey in the Discord is letting us know pretty much on a daily how many days till Smash Brothers Ultimate comes out. So that's the big one dropping December 7th. However, there are a few other games dropping in December that might be semi-noteworthy here. And it's funny because as I read this list here on Forbes that they published the other day, some of them I didn't even realize were coming out this year. So Just Cause 4. Like, I knew it was announced. I had no idea it was coming out this year. Did either of you pay any attention to that?
I mean, go ahead.
I knew it was this year. I knew it was in early December, but that was about all I knew.
Yeah, I knew it was coming, but I have no interest in Just Cause. So
yeah, I just didn't think it was coming out. So it's coming out December 4th. It's actually dropping before Smash. So another one, which nobody really cares about, let's be honest, PUBG hitting December 7th to PS4 for those of you that want to do it. But this one I thought was interesting here for you guys here because you talked a lot about PSVR. And I didn't realize this was coming already. Borderlands 2 VR drops December 14th.
I didn't know it was coming out that soon, but definitely I knew that it was coming, and it's something I wouldn't like repurchase it just for VR, but definitely be like watching reviews and whatnot. I'm very interested how they handle movement and whatnot. I imagine you can use the DualShock, but outside of that.
Yeah, I'll be really interested. I don't know if I will pick it up either, at least day one. But if it reviews well enough and it goes on a decent sale, at some point I probably would jump into Borderlands in VR again.
Yeah, do you ever play Skyrim VR?
No.
Because that was one thing I looked up and I was like, this is awful. But
it's apparently much better on PC than it is on PSVR.
Okay. So yeah, that was kind of what I thought of because I had looked up both of them around the same time and I was like, let's hope Borderlands does better than this. So
yeah, I mean, plus like Skyrim, like you said, it's the same issue you had with Fallout is they're not technically pretty games really. So
no. In VR, like it's a mess. Like the way you move and like you use like it's like this real time. It's like Mario Kingdom. Like you have a cursor and you push it forward and then you move to it. Yeah, I was like, that's awful. Who wants to play Skyrim like that?
No. Oh gosh. Oh, all right. Hot mess. We talked a little bit about Pokemon Let's Go earlier, but we're going to bring it up again here. Pokemon Let's Go, Pikachu, and Eevee break Switch sales records. So the two games have sold 3 million copies in just 1 week and have become the fastest selling Nintendo Switch title since the system launched in March of 2017. Insane. So for reference, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild sold 1.3 million in the first 28 days. Yep. Mario Odyssey crossed the 2 million mark in only 3 days, which is obviously better, but didn't quite catch these new Pokemon titles in its first week, which is insane.
So the question is, does Smash obliterate Pokemon? That's the big question.
Oh, I don't know.
Historical numbers say no.
Right. And I still might say no, only because there's some of you Pokemon psychopaths out there that buy 2 copies.
Oh, yeah.
And that's counting as 2 sales, even though it's the same game.
I bought 2 copies.
See? You psychopaths. But yeah, but I mean, I get why, but that also doesn't help that I think a large portion of Pokemon players do buy both versions of the game, which that obviously boosts the sales up a little bit. But, back in November 2017, Pokemon Company revealed that Pokemon titles have sold over 300 million units. So this is just adding to that, which is just nuts.
Nintendo's best IP. Saying since we started.
But yeah, so nearly 22 million Switches have been sold at the end of October 2018. And out of those 22 million owners, 3 million have Pokemon in their systems in the first couple of days. So the important question is, Kyle, when you get in your copy.
So I've thought about it. I haven't bid on it yet, but I've considered it. And I was like, well, maybe when it goes on sale, then I realized how ludicrous of a thought that process was.
Hey, Sun and Moon was on sale this year.
Perfect.
That's true. I did see that. It was on Black Friday deals.
2020, Kyle. You can get on that Pokemon.
So no, I might pick it up. I think the hard thing is there's just so darn much to play right now. And I'm interested though. I just have never been a Pokemon person, but sure. I am far more interested in this one than I have been any other previous version.
It's definitely more accessible. I will say that. And I am kind of regretting I did not buy the one with the Pokeball. And I'm kind of almost was like, man, I should have got the version with the Pokeball.
It's so OP, man. It's so OP. Like I carry that. I mean, I was going to say the Shaq, but I carry that Pokeball with me everywhere. It's insane. And I don't even like using it as a controller.
Yeah.
But it's what they've done with it in terms of they've done exactly what I wanted them to do. It's making me play Pokemon Go because it's easy. I'm not like looking at my phone or anything. I just click the button. But it's giving me so much rewards in Pokemon Let's Go that I can't leave home without it. Like I have it with me at all times. I'm constantly carrying it with me. I even took a walk I went and took a walk the other day just because I have it. Like, it's the craziest thing. I mean, it's so good. Like, you just throw a Pokemon in it, you come back, and it's like 5 levels up. You know, it's like, and we're talking late game 5 levels, not early game 5 levels. Like, Josh wore it to work one night and totally evolved a Magikarp into a Gyarados in one day.
That's crazy.
You know, it's so accessible. Like, it hits so many like benefits on so many different little fronts that the totality of the package is totally worth it. I was calling on Twitter. This is like the world's most cleverly disguised loot box or like accelerator.
Yes, it 100% is. Yeah. And it's the same thing. I don't want it as a controller either. I don't think my wife would like it as a controller. But it was just simply that whole carrying it around, leveling up the Pokemon. And plus I was a little mad that you get a Mew right away too. I was like, oh man.
Right away.
But yeah. So, all right, last news story. I want to pick this one purely because I thought this was hilarious. So recently, a few days ago, Chinese video game site A9VG recently covered Kingdom Hearts 3. But it had to remove a certain thing. It was censored from its coverage. They had to edit out Winnie the Pooh.
They don't wear pants?
That was the same thing as I was reading the stories that my wife said. She was like, oh, it's because he's not wearing pants. I'm like, well, but here's the thing. In the scene that he censored out of, there's Rabbit, there's Gopher, there's Piglet, there's Roo. None of them wearing pants either. It's because Chinese leader Xi Jinping, I guess his name, he's been repeatedly compared to Winnie the Pooh, which has led to a crackdown of the character on Chinese social media because, as we know, China like monitors their internet completely.
That's hilarious.
The man has had Winnie the Pooh removed from everything. It is insane. So just when you think Donald Trump might be the most insane politician on earth, and that still may be true, this dude banned Winnie the Pooh because people say he looks like him. So I just thought it was completely hilarious. So the movie Christopher Robin was banned in China because Winnie the Pooh obviously is in the Christopher Robin movie. But no official reason has been given, but obviously China knows what's up. So yeah, it's just completely edited out. But it's interesting though, is a Chinese language version of Kingdom Hearts 3 is in development, but it's not known whether or not Winnie the Pooh will be allowed to appear in the game or if something's going to have to be done completely different to sell the game in China, which is insane. So there you go, everybody. You hear all the stories about video game censorship and, you know, is video games art? Should they be censoring the art? Well, Winnie the Pooh is not allowed in China. Just throwing that out there. It's not because of video game violence. It's not because of loot boxes and gambling. It's because of Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, bother.
I'm so glad you said that because I wanted to say it, but I trusting Kyle. Perfect.
And a really quick side note, apparently, because I was just interested, Skyrim on PSVR is sitting at a 77 on Metacritic, including sites that gave it a perfect 10.
What?
Yeah.
After that description, I don't know how you get a perfect 10 out of that.
I don't know. Apparently Skyrim in VR, not too bad.
I watched one gameplay video and I was like, no.
I right away thought it couldn't be good either, but apparently people enjoy it. So there we go.
Fair enough. All right. That's it for the news of the week. So it's time to move on to not really my favorite segment. People might think it is. It's time for Kevin Hates Everything.
He used to enjoy games like Mario and Zelda. He used to like Bethesda and the New England Patriots. He used to love to visit the Nintendo Shack. But now, Kevin hates everything.
Okay, so far, guys, I've done video game stories. And I said from the start this wasn't always going to be video game related. So this week, it's not going to be related. This week, Kevin hates having a teenage daughter. So for those of you who aren't fully familiar, I have 3 daughters. I have a 3-year-old, I have a 12-year-old, and I have one that'll be 15 in like 3 weeks. Well, guys, I know Donnie, you're years away from this, and Kyle, you're not even in that spectrum yet.
12, man. I'm not years away. I'm right there.
15 and 12. Okay, I guess. Guys, she brought home a boy the other day.
Was it a nice boy?
Well,
because that's all that matters.
Well. So this started with her.
He said, "Well,
we'll get to that." So now this isn't the first time she brought a boy home, but it's the first time she brought a boy in that kind of sense home. Because there's a kid who lives across the street who's like same age as my middle daughter, who's at our house constantly. We just kind of call him our adopted son. That's a different type of thing. They're all just friends. So she's in high school, freshman in high school, and the winter ball was coming on. And we asked her a long time ago, like, hey, you going to winter ball? She's like, no, I don't want to go to the winter ball. Blah, blah. And then, of course, all the friends start talking, and it leads to, I want to go to the winter ball. Okay, when is it? Oh, it's in 2 weeks. Oh, okay. And apparently this kid asked her to go. Okay, new territory for me. First thing in my mouth was like,
did he make her a YouTube video?
No, it's not prom. It's not prom.
Okay.
I expect it for prom. But the first thing in my mouth was like, hey, I need to meet this kid before you just go into this dance with this kid. That's not flying in my house. So she invited him over yesterday. So he comes over yesterday. We're talking, he's doing like the kids were making gingerbread houses. So all of them were decorating gingerbread houses. So my daughter and him worked on one. My wife and my middle child worked on one. And my youngest and my sister-in-law worked on the other one. So I'm just kind of hovering around. I'm in and out of the room because I'm playing video games too.
Did he call you Mr. Austin, Daddy-O, or Pops?
He called me Sir, which was okay. I'm okay with that. So I come out of the room and I'm just hanging out there and we talk about video games a little bit. Like, you play video games? He's like, oh yeah. I'm like, all right, okay. Bonus points in my head. And then he follows it up with, yeah, I play every Call of Duty. That was my worst nightmare right there. He pretty much only plays Call of Duty, so he's a dude bro gamer. Dude bro gamer to the fullest. So that irritated me. But here's the kicker, guys. I don't know how to deal with this one. He's a sophomore. She's a freshman.
It's standard.
I don't like this.
Girls
like
date
this.
up, guys date down.
I don't like this.
Why?
Guys, it's my daughter.
Are you and your wife in the exact same grades, the exact same age?
No, she's older than me.
Okay. All right.
I mean, I'm not one to talk. When I was a junior, I dated a freshman. So what are you gonna do?
Oh yeah, you would have been on my crap list there, Kyle. Right off the bat. Although you play better video games, so I might be.
That's true.
You might have been able to win me over a little bit.
Their recent $1 billion in sales proves that he's just more into the norm than you are.
No, he only plays Call of Duty.
Apparently, that a lot of video gamers only play Call of Duty because it just sold $1 billion its first month.
I guess so. I just don't know how to deal with this. I've been good. I've always been kind of the cool dad because I'll go above and beyond and do things like, the escape room I built for their birthday party and things like that. And it's kind of now it's just like, well, now this guy's along. And I don't know how to handle this one. This is the one that dad can't be cool about.
Oh no.
Yeah, she went dress shopping today, got the dress for it, which luckily I approve of because nowadays there's a lot of dresses out there that are not appropriate, but
do you feel challenged?
But this kid, no. Nah. He's first off, he's the same height as my daughter, so he's this little thing. And then the initial plan was we were gonna invite him over tomorrow to watch the football game. So she texted him that and she was like, hey, you want to come and watch a football game with us, boy? And his response was, I don't really watch football. I'm like, what? And she's like, yeah, he's not big into sports. He just does cross country, and that's it. I'm like,
cross country.
Yeah, I'm like,
There's so many jokes I want to be making, but I'm not going to.
No, that's fine.
Call of Duty.
It's worth it. Call of Duty.
So are you and him going to play Blackout? To
I did talk a little bit about Blackout. I said, hey, I do really like Blackout because he's like, I don't really like Fortnite, and I'm kind of.
He was like, I hate Blackout.
Yeah, no, but I like Blackout, and he likes Blackout, so that was
okay.
a common there too. So there's some common ground, and they actually ended up playing Mario Kart later on. I was tempted to go into the room and just completely destroy all his hopes and dreams, but my teenage daughter was actually whooping his butt, so I didn't have to.
She was doing a good job of that.
Yeah, I told her after, I'm like, good job not letting him win, honey. I'm proud of you. So
good for her.
Yeah, she played up. So yeah, I don't know, guys. I don't know how to deal with this, but yeah, that's my life now.
It's something I've been preparing for. I mean, the daughter's 12. She's already she's had a boyfriend, or I guess she's had a boy at school write a paper about her. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
I
want a copy of that. Like, Daddy needs to screen that.
Oh, you're right. I should get a copy of it. Yeah, he wrote all about her, and she's just like, he totally freaks me out. And I was like, that's so cute. He's like professing his adult language. She's like, no, that is not. Yeah, I don't know. I've always thought to myself that I'd be I'd be okay with it. I'd be the cool dad. I just told her not to bring home some riffraff, and then my wife reminds me that she brought me home. So, I was like, and I want better for her than you. So, all right.
Honey, I want you to do better than your mom did.
I'm like, I know what you brought home. That's what I'm trying to tell her. Don't be doing that.
But no, he does seem like an okay kid. Overall, like it could have been a lot worse. It could have been the kid with like the slick back hair, or just the punk, or the emo kid, or something like that. But he's not. He seems okay. He's all right.
I mean, consider yourself an accomplished dad. I wish my first date with my wife was us playing Call of Duty together. That sounds pretty sweet.
Making gingerbread houses and playing some Mario Kart. That was
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm waiting for Smash, and then I'll crush him in Smash. That's what I'll do. I'll teach him
in Smash.
Yep, I'll learn him real good. So, but anyway, that's it. That's it for me, guys. That's it. That's all I hate this week. Nothing video game related, but that life in general. So, before we leave, as always, guys, Kyle, sir, where can people find you? Anything you'd like to plug? I hear there's a podcast you do sometimes, occasionally.
Yeah, so me and Josh, we do this little podcast called Board with Video Games. You can check us out on Twitter, Instagram, all those good things at Board with VG. We also have our own podcast feed, Board with Video Games, as well as being on the PSVG feed. Unlike the Nintendo Shack, we don't take weeks off. We're bringing you content every single week because we care so much about our listeners. So no time off for us. But we would love if you'd give us a follow and a listen. It would mean the world to us.
Donnie, your rebuttal.
I have none. We don't have to do it every week. I mean, yeah, our folks are good. Like they're still jamming on that Pokemon. So yeah. But yeah, we do a podcast every Thursday night called the Nintendo Shack. We have our own separate feed, just like Board of Video Games. And we hope that you subscribe to both and leave us a review, tell a friend about it, tweet at us over on Twitter at ShackLife. And this week should be fun. Hoping to get Devin to come swing by the Shack. We'll see.
Ooh.
Fingers crossed.
Good. I was actually I end up having zero time to do it, but I was actually gonna record a Nintendo Shack by myself and just put it on the feed, and you'd be like, "What the heck is going on?" But I was just gonna read like the Nintendo news, but then there was no news other than the Pokemon sales thing, which I'm like, I'm just gonna use it for the show. But yeah,
sure.
So it is what it is. But hey, everybody, if you don't already know, head over to the website psvg.blog to find all the things PSVG related there, including that Discord. We want you to come and talk with us. We have a hop in Discord over there with all different rooms and topics, so you're bound to find something you can talk about, chat with us, and God only knows that's what we do most days overall. So check it out. You can find me on Twitter if you so wish at PSVG Kevin. Follow the website overall at PSVG. But most importantly, everybody, as always, we ask that you never stop gaming.